Hey guys, it's Kasera, and today I'm going to be doing my December book haul. I decided to do this book haul like I did the last few just because I get tons of books, especially in the month of December. For some reason, it's the month that I just want to buy everything. So I did this as kind of a vlog, starting out with the beginning of December, and basically every day that I bought something, or like every couple of days that I bought something, I just filmed like sort of a vlog style sort of clip. So let's go ahead and get to the books that I got in the month of December. So my first purchase in December is Vita, Nostra by Marina and Sergey Dyachenko. This is a book that I read earlier this year. I listened to the audiobook of it and just completely got so enmeshed in this world. I absolutely love it. It's a very interesting book because it's very mind-bendy. You don't really know what's going on the whole time. It's like a dark magic school sort of book, and I absolutely loved it, and I really wanted to have a physical copy so that I can reread it at some point. It's not on my December TBR because I didn't know that I was gonna buy this book, but if I have time later after I finish my December TBR, I might pick it up. Like, this might actually be happening, and I'm excited for it. So I was in the middle of filming some other videos, and I decided to check the mail, and this baby just came in. For those of you who don't know, this is the Bookcase Club subscription box, which I just started getting, and I wasn't expecting it because I feel like I just got one, but I got the December box, and I'm really excited for it. So I decided that I would unbox it for you guys. So Bookcase Club is a subscription box that you can choose which genre that you get. I'm getting the Strange Worlds box, which you can get fantasy or science fiction. You can pick one fantasy, one science fiction, or two of each. I decided to get 2 fantasy books, so let's see what they are. Open this up for you. This is what it looks like. We got 2 books. One is hardcover, one is paperback, and I'm recognizing the author on this one, so I'm gonna take them out of the box. So we have Death's Mistress by Terry Goodkind and The Perilous Prophecy by Leanne Renee Hieber. So really quickly, I'm gonna first look at Death's Mistress by Terry Goodkind because I actually recognize the author's name because the author is an author that I've considered reading a lot in the past because I saw the TV show for the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind, and I've been considering reading his books. Like, I think I picked up the first one and ended up DNFing it like a really long time ago, back when I DNF books a lot. But let's see what this is about because this seems like it's a different series. Okay, so it is a different series, but it's in the same world as his Sword of Truth series. It's just following a character that is loosely related to the main characters from the Sword of Truth series. It kind of spoiled the Sword of Truth series for me when I was reading the summary here, though I kind of expected to know how the Sword of Truth series ended, but at the same time, like, this kind of spoiled it for me. I don't know, this seems interesting. Like, the Sword of Truth series was one that's kind of like a classic fantasy that I've considered reading, but I wasn't really sure if I wanted to, but maybe I can try some of Terry Goodkind's newer stuff and maybe I'll like it more. You never know, right? I'm pretty excited for this book because it seems like an underrated fantasy read, and I think the reason why I'm most excited is because of the beginning of the little quote on the back, which says rich, dark, and beautiful imagery. I love fantasy books that have beautiful imagery, and I'm excited to read this one. It is set in Cairo in 1860s, and it's following a group of 6 men and 1 woman that have been gifted by the goddess with great powers. So it should be interesting. It kind of gives me, just from the back of the book, Night Circus vibes. Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but this one makes me really excited. So I hope that I'll end up really liking this one, but definitely going on my TBR shelf. So in the month of December, I haven't really been buying a lot of books that I've never read before, but I've just been itching to buy some of like my favorites, and I've been really into recently illustrated editions of some of my favorite books. So when I saw this book, I kind of had to get it. And that's the illustrated edition of Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is the 25th anniversary edition. And while Assassin's Apprentice is not my favorite book in that series, it's actually probably one of my least favorite books in that series. It is the first book in the entire Realm of the Elderlings, and I wanted to have the collector's edition. Like, I really wanted to have it. And what I really like about this one is that it's full color. Like, see, the chapter pages and stuff is full color. There's really beautiful illustrations. I love the map. Of course, I love the color map, but most of the illustrated editions that I've seen, like, they don't have full color, or they'll have like a few full color, not the entire book. So I think that's really cool that this one's in color, and I really, really like it. So I'm so glad that I ended up getting this book. So I've been doing quite a bit more shopping than I generally do, just because buying gifts for everyone and all of that. And when I do that, I end up shopping a little bit more for myself, including books. So I bought a few books just like in random places. So I'm gonna go through those books right now. The first ones that I bought are Cold-Hearted Rake and Marrying Winterbourne by Lisa Kleypas. So these are the first two books in the Ravenels series. So this is a historical romance series that I don't read a whole lot of historical romance, but I actually do really like this author. I read her previous series, which is the Wallflowers series, and this is like the sequel series to it. And I was recently talking to another booktuber, I think it was the Book Refuge. She really, really loves this series, so I wanted to give it a try. And I'm also giving first book here gift to like one of my friends, because it's the type of book that she typically reads, and we could probably buddy read it together. So that's why I decided to pick up these two. I'll probably pick up the other two books in this series as well later on in the month. Another book that I decided to pick up is Kings of the Wyld by Nicholas Eames. I've heard lots and lots of good things about this series, and I've really, really been wanting to pick this series up. I'm definitely planning on reading this in 2020 at some point, so I figured since it was just there, I just wanted to have it, so I picked it up. I don't know anything about this other than it's grimdark fantasy and has really great reviews. A lot of people seem to love it, so I'm hoping that I'll love it too. The next one I decided to pick up is actually a new release. It came out on December 10th, and that's Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. For some reason, I have this like annual thing where the first book I finish of the year is on January 1st, and it's a Colleen Hoover book. Like, it's worked for the last 2 years, and both of them have been 5-star reads for me. So I'm hoping that this one does the same thing for me next year as well. So that's why I decided to end up picking this one up. I also really like the idea of this book because it's about a mother and a daughter. It's kind of about their relationship after the dad dies. It's kind of like an adult book, but it's also a young adult book at the same time. Like, it's for both, and I like mother, daughter, sister sort of relationship type of books. I really like that. And Colleen Hoover is an author that I like the way she writes. Sometimes I don't always like the books that she writes, but I like the way that she writes them, so I feel like I'll end up liking this one. So I'm hoping that I'll end up really liking this one, which is why I decided to pick it up. Next is a book that I've already read, but I really, really liked, so I decided to pick it up, and that's Pet Semetary by Stephen King. This is the only book from October, which was like my mysteries, thrillers, and horrors, that has really, really stuck with me since then. It wasn't my favorite book that I read in October, because there were other books that I liked way more than this one, but this is the only one that's really stuck with me that I still like have flashbacks of reading it because of like some of the stuff that happens in it. I think this is probably my favorite Stephen King book so far. I've only read 4 of his books, so it's not that many, but like I really, really enjoyed it, and I wanted to share it with one of my cousins. So I bought her the book, and then I was just like, can't buy her the book and then not have a copy of my own. So I wanted to have my own copy because I might want to reread it at some point. I'm really excited to just have a copy of this book. And since I was already buying a Stephen King book, I decided to buy another Stephen King book, one that I haven't read, and that's Misery by Stephen King. I don't really know very much about this book, but I've heard good things about it, and I wanted to read more books by Stephen King ever since I read Pet Semetary and The Shining. I like started to understand like why people love him as an author that much, and I want to read more by him, so I'm hoping that I'll end up liking this one as well. I just got my book of the month box. I'm pretty excited about this, so I'm gonna open this up to show you guys what I got. Okay, so I picked 3 books for this box, which I generally don't do. The first one is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. So I've been seeing this book all year round, and I've been wanting to pick it up, but I just haven't really gotten around to it. And just because I don't generally like the audiobooks for like YA romance, I think this is romance, contemporary? Yeah, it's like a contemporary romance. And I've just heard really, really good things about this, so I'm really excited about it. I believe this is about the son of the president falls in love with the Prince of Wales, which is just an interesting combination, and like it makes sense, and I'm excited for it. Like, I'm pretty excited for this one. I'm definitely gonna be getting to this like at the beginning of next year. The next book I picked up is Recursion by Blake Crouch. If you've seen my recap videos, then you know, like, this is one of my favorite books of the year. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm glad to have a physical copy of it. It surprises me that it's as small as it is, because I felt like this book was bigger like than it is physically. I'm just really glad to have a physical copy of this book because I know I'm gonna end up rereading this at some point, and I'm really, really excited. And the next one that I picked up is also a book that I've already read, and that's Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this book earlier this year and absolutely loved it. The audiobook for this book is so good. Highly recommended. And I really am excited to reread this book eventually. So I'm so happy to have this book as well. These babies just came in the mail, so I wanted to talk about them really quick. The first one is Animal Farm by George Orwell. I got the beautiful illustrated edition of this timeless classic. I absolutely love this book. It's one of my favorite classics of all time, and I think it's just like one of those like perfect books, if you know what I mean. It has its theme that it's trying to talk about, which I don't really want to talk too much about because like you should read the book. It's amazing. It's super short too, like it's not that hard to read, and it has this theme and it just depicts the theme so perfectly. Like it's one of my favorite books that I've read, and it's really well done. Also, it's a 4-hour audiobook, and the audiobook is really good, so I highly recommend this audiobook as well. But yeah, I got the illustrated edition because I've been wanting to get a copy of this book for the longest while because it's one of my favorite classics, and I saw this illustrated edition and of course I got it. Really excited to have this book. Like I feel like I'm gonna reread this book like every other month because I have like the illustrated edition of it now. But yeah, it's really good, and I'm really happy to have this one. And the other book I just got was Foundation by Isaac Asimov. I recently read a book by Isaac Asimov. It was The End of Eternity, and I really enjoyed it, like way more than I was expecting to. I thought the creativity in The End of Eternity was really good, and I liked like the thriller aspects of it. Of course, it's sci-fi, which I loved, and yes, I loved everything about The End of Eternity, and it just made me want to read like more Isaac Asimov books. And the one that everyone tells you to start with is Foundation. So I decided to go ahead and get Foundation, and hopefully I can get to this one soon. I don't know anything about it, like literally nothing about it, but I'm excited to find out. So definitely excited for this one. Okay, so I got my first book outlet orders. I'm gonna go ahead and haul those for you guys. The other one's not coming till January because it was the after Christmas sale, so we're gonna have to wait till January's book haul for that one, but we're gonna start with the ones that I got in December, which I'm super excited for. So the first book that I got was The Passage by Justin Cronin. This one was only like $2, so I decided to get it because I've seen this kind of everywhere. I believe it's like post-apocalyptic or dystopian or something like that. I know that it's a sci-fi book that a lot of people seem to love, and there's, I believe, a TV show. Yeah, there's a TV show now based on the book, so I've been wanting to pick this one up. So when it was only $2, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this one. So I'm pretty excited to have this book. And the next book I decided to pick up is Nemesis by Brenden Reich. This is another one that was under $2 that I've had on my radar because I borrowed this from the library. I didn't get around to reading it, but it's about a girl who dies like on her birthday like every year or something like that, which is just an interesting concept, and I want to see what it's actually about. I love like thriller sci-fis, and I feel like this one will be a good thriller sci-fi. Also, it's YA, and I haven't read a thriller sci-fi that is YA before, so I'm excited to see what is going on with this one, and definitely happy to have it. So before we get into all the fantasy, I do have one more thing that I ended up getting, and that's Devil in Spring and Hello Stranger by Lisa Kleypas. This is the 3rd and 4th book in the Ravenel's cycle, trilogy, series, whatever it's called. I think I got the first 2 books earlier in this book haul, so I ended up getting the 3rd and the 4th book in Book Outlet, which is, I mean, why I ended up getting the first 2, because I actually ordered these first. Those just arrived first. I don't read romance often, and these 4 books will probably hold me off for an entire year of romance books. Like 4 is fine, that's all I need. But I'll be happy to like have some fluffier reads that aren't as dark and disturbing as like all of my fantasy books are, because you know I read a lot of grimdark fantasy. But yeah, I have 2 more romance books that will keep me in a happy mood. So now we're gonna move on to some of the high fantasy books that I ended up picking up from Book Outlet. First, we have these books from sort of the Melissa Book of the Fallen series, but not really. Like they're kind of a spin-off series. First we have Stonewielder by E.N.C. Asimov. So this is a novel for the Melissa Book of the Fallen, but it's by the other author. So there's 2 authors that write it. Steven Erikson is like the main author, and then E.N.C. Asimov, I believe, is like the spin-off author. I don't know. I haven't read anything by him before, but I have been liking the Melissa Book of the Fallen, so I've been wanting to get some of the other stuff that is related to the series. So that's why I decided to pick this one up. I picked it up mostly because it was available on Book Outlet, not because I was gonna read it anytime soon. I probably won't be reading it very soon. Depends on how well I get through the Malazan books, because I plan on reading this series after that. But yeah, this is, I believe it's a standalone actually. This one I believe is a standalone, just like within the Malazan world. So maybe I will read it before that. I don't know. But we'll see. I'm excited to have more books in that world though. And then I have the Path to the Ascendancy trilogy, also by E.N.C. Asimov, which includes Dancer's Lament, Deadhouse Landing, and Kelaved's Reach. This is also like a small trilogy that I don't know anything about other than it's set in the Malazan world, which so far I really love. I love that world. So I'm definitely excited to read more from that world. So next, I decided to pick up Empire of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. This is the third book in the Broken Empire series. I actually have the first book in the series, Prince of Thorns, on my Kindle. I don't own the second book in the series, but I do plan on reading this series this year at some point. So when I saw this one available on Book Outlet, and it's the version that I would typically pick up, which is the mass market paperback, because they're just so cute and little and I love them, I decided to just pick it up because I know I'm gonna buy this eventually and I'll probably end up paying more for it than if I had just got it on Book Outlet. So I'm really happy to have this one and definitely will be starting this series soon. Very, very soon. And lastly, I decided to pick up Under Heaven and River of Stars by Guy Gabriel Kay. I've heard lots of great things about Guy Gabriel Kay. It's an author that I've been meaning to pick up for a really, really long time, and I've heard really good things about these books in particular. These are his Asian-inspired, like, historical fantasies, so it's kind of like an alternate history, but like with fantasy elements, which I'm really, really excited for. I've heard that his writing is really beautiful too. So when I saw these on Book Outlet, I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to get them right now. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to these, and I will definitely be getting to them sometime in 2020. So those are all the books that I got in the month of December. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these books. I would love to discuss with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I post videos frequently on this channel, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.